naturally, we still have to talk about the Grizzlies, which means naturally we have to talk about Ja Morant in the public eye and about how bad of a contract he is. And despite how bad of a contract he is, we're still talking about trading him at the same time.
I mean, again, like, it is wild. Like, you can tell when the media cycle is kind of getting slower because you're going to get a Ja Morant hit piece, whether it's the Kings have inquired or the T-Wolves or whatever. Well, now they're saying on ESPN.com that the only players that Ja Morant could be traded for are other bad former All-Star guards, Trae Young and LaMelo Ball. And I say bad in a very loose meaning of the word because they're saying that they're overvalued, they're regressing, and they're not valued at large in the NBA anymore. But yet every team is calling about Ja Morant if you read the other days. So it's like ESPN. Which one is it? Is every team checking into Ja Morant that you reported? Or is it no teams are checking into Ja Morant because he's regressing and his contract is bad? Like, you're talking out of both sides of your mouth here, and we ain't here for that.
Well, and I always just take such exception to headlines that say people around the league believe that Ja Morant and Trae Young are all negative values and wouldn't be surprised if they're traded for one another. That is just a sentence that is just complete and utter speculation and fodder. There's not reporting in this. This is rumor. This is friends talking amongst friends, probably venting, just water cooler talk about Ja Morant. And let me tell you, I was extremely critical of Ja Morant last year. I think that this year hasn't done much for him. It only gotten worse because of the suspension, the faux outrage over the Klay Thompson stuff, and then the injury. Everything that people are holding against Ja in pieces like this and public opinion of Ja, he's done nothing so far this year to correct his image. And so I don't really have an issue with anonymous sources, league representatives anywhere around any team saying that Ja Morant's contract could be a really bad contract. Like, to me, that is a totally reasonable thing to speculate. But it is speculation. And honestly, what makes it even worse is when we were talking about Ja Morant at his prime, he was directly correlated with two people, Derrick Rose and John Wall. Derrick Rose and John Wall both fit the Ja Morant archetype. The fast guard, good in transition, flashy at the rim, can finish at the rim, great, really good assist guys, don't really shoot the ball well. I mean, that is Ja Morant, and it is those other two guys as well. And both of those guys flamed out and were not near hitting the peak of their talent because of injuries. And so it sucks. It's also the truth. And I don't really know how you correct it. And as Grizzlies fans, in my opinion, you just kind of have to live with it. Because much like I've went through the Lane Kiffin thing, and people were going to talk about Lane, and they're going to talk about Ja. They are lightning rod topics. They're very divisive topics, and that's what we talk about in the media. Yeah, and you just kind of have to live with it.
The injury parts, I'll get with that. They reference Ja's not admitting that he's not going to be dunking and attacking the rim as much. They referenced him earlier this season saying, I'm not getting any foul calls. Y'all had a whole spiel about running in there careless and getting hurt. So now what?
Like, he said, I'm not getting hurt for this.
Yeah, I get that. But then they start referencing off-court issues. It's been 2 whole calendar years since off-court issues. I understand there's some pain in the ass, as they call it in the article,
right,
about like some of the coaching drama we saw a couple weeks ago. Where clearly you're not paying attention because now him and T.I. dap it up, laugh, they're hugging each other on the sideline. Like, that clearly is water under the bridge at this point. Or they're really good actors. I'm choosing that it's water under the bridge because it looks genuine. And several of them are saying that, Ja has peaked, Ja's coming back down. But then you get to the bottom of the article, and it says there is a contingent of coaches, scouts, and executives who consider him more of a proven winner than Trae Young and LaMelo Ball. And of the three, Ja is the one who could be saved. He's got to prove he can play again, and you can get him, one West executive said. Another one said it's a gamble, but I truly believe Ja will be fine at his next stop. But the Grizzlies are going to have to move Ja. They don't have a choice, and that's where I disagree. You don't have to move Ja. Jaren has a very tradable contract now. You can trade Jaren's contract for a lot of things should it come down to it. I love Jaren. He's my guy. But at the end of the day, he would be the one that gets moved because Ja Morant is the franchise, is the city, and I don't see Ja going anywhere.
No, I don't really see either of them going anywhere.
And
again, it's like and I think the argument that this article is trying to make, or one of the arguments, is that the value has tanked. Like they are become tradable, but at the same time, they're not worth the money they're getting paid, which is a really hard spot to be in. And the reason why they're saying that you could probably only trade Ja Morant, Trae Young, and LaMelo Ball for each other because they all three of these kind of share the same commonalities where they're making a lot of money, but there's holes in their games. For Trae Young is that he can't hold up at all on the defensive end of the court, and LaMelo may just be a losing player. Like he may just be an empty stats player the rest of his life. And so I don't really know what you do. For the Grizzlies, there's no way they're trading Ja, and there's no way they're trading Jaren because that is admitting defeat. This team has been reshaped 2 to 3 different times during the Ja and Jaren age in order to theoretically unlock Ja and Jaren, and Ja and Jaren are going the wrong way. So then what do you do? Because the only option if you do that is then you admit that mistakes were made previously, and then you trade Ja and Jaren and just completely lean into a rebuild, and that's just not going to happen. It's just simply not going to happen.
It's not. We're not at a rebuild stage right now because if you admit defeat, like you said, then that's Zach Kleiman saying what I have been doing is not working, and I don't know that he would retain his job for the rebuild because he's not been able to rebuild around Ja and Jaren over the last few years. I don't think that either one of them are going to get traded, but I think Ja even less so just because of what he means to this franchise. Because if you trade Ja, you lose the city and you lose the fan base.
Yeah.
And if there is, Adam Silver's been more pro expansion over relocation, but if relocation becomes an option and you trade Ja, you will be number one on the list to get relocated.
Yeah, I mean, he's the ticket. It's not hard to realize that. He is the draw. Numbers, attendance numbers, I'm sure, are down dramatically this year over 3 years ago in particular, that 21-22 season in which you finished as the number 2 team in the Western Conference. Ja Morant was an All-NBA. He was an All-Star starter, all this other kind of stuff. I do not believe, just like I made the argument, just to show you that I'm being consistent with this, just like I made the argument last year that Taylor Jenkins didn't forget how to coach, Ja Morant did not forget how to play good basketball. He's got to... and Jaren either. You're right. Ja did not, and Jaren did not forget how to play good basketball. I don't know what it is in their psyche. With Ja, I think I know what it is. It's the fear of injury. It's the high flying nature in which he plays the game, coupled with the fact that he's not being put in a good situation. Like it's the game plan of it all that he has a problem with, coupled with the injury history and being too much online. I don't know what it is with Jaren, but you got to figure it out. And Ja has not played a game since November the 15th. They said 2 weeks for reevaluation. We're now over 2 weeks. We haven't heard anything. So I don't know if it's time to put our spotty senses up yet, or because there's been no news at all, not even a report that we should be hearing something pretty soon. So I don't really know what's going on.